My name is Dawn Ackley, and this is my story. I was born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. When I was young, my parents had me baptized as a baby in the Lutheran Church, and I went to a neighborhood church for Sunday school. When I was 6 years old, my parents started attending the Reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, now known as the Community of Christ. I got married at 19, and shortly after getting married, my husband became abusive, threatening, and assaulting. After enduring this abuse for about 1.5 years, I left and moved back with my parents. I told myself I would never stay in another relationship where I was afraid. At this point, I was attending church off and on with little interest. Eventually, I was asked, and after some reluctance, accepted the offer to be a chaperone at a youth retreat. After just escaping an abusive relationship, I felt far from everyone around me and far from God. At the final service of the retreat, everyone was talking about God's love, a feeling I had never known. All of a sudden, God changed my heart, and His love came pouring in, changing my life completely. This produced a change in me that even those I worked with could see. Those I worked with assured me that these feelings would go away after a while, but God held me tight, and I finally came to understand what Christ meant when He commanded us to love one another as He loves us. But that is not the end. The church I was going to is a sister church to the Mormons, a Trinitarian version that preached the gospel but unfortunately used an altered Bible that produced distortion and confusion of the truth. I continued attending that church because it was the only church experience I had. Eventually, I went to Graceland College, the college of the church I attended, and became a nurse, got remarried, moved back east, and had my first daughter. That marriage started falling apart as he became more aggressive, which led me to leave that marriage also. A couple of years later, I met my current husband, and we got married. We had my second daughter, and after moving up to this area, I stopped working to be a stay-at-home mom. During this time, I had growing questions about my salvation experience because of what my church taught. They focused on a works-based salvation while my experience was one of grace. This led me to seek adult interaction through discussion boards, and eventually I found a Christian discussion board and for the first time discussed real Christian beliefs with real Christians. Because my previous church had their own version of the Bible, I was completely unaware of what was in the real Bible. During these discussions, I had to sit with 2 Bibles open, my old one from the church I was attending, and a King James version, to see the differences. Hearing these teachings for the first time really led me to question my beliefs, and within a year, I completely put away my old beliefs and accepted true biblical Christianity and finally felt free for the first time in my life. I no longer needed to worry that nothing I did was good enough for God because His blood covered all my sins. After leaving the church I grew up in, a church I was very active in, my life became very complicated. I continued posting on the Christian discussion board and was tapped by the owner to become a staff member, but in my real life, I started attending a non-denominational church where I just sat in the back and listened. I carried with me a lot of hurt from my previous church experience that made me reluctant to re-engage in church in real life. Over time, as the pain subsided, I slowly got involved again. Since September, I've been coming to West Windsor Baptist Church and have made the decision that I no longer want to sit in the back, but that I want to risk being actively involved again. My testimony is that God was always with me and has guided my steps to be where I needed to be to hear the truth.